Hello and welcome to Chess with Simon. I'm Simon. Let's have a look at these games then. There's some very interesting ones happening tonight actually. There is a lot of interesting stuff happening on live chess and on chess.com. So here we're going to play bishop d5 check. I have not yet admitted that I'm losing this, although that sentence suggests I actually have admitted to myself I'm losing this. I don't think it's completely gone. In other words, if we could swap all the pawns off, I don't even know what the result would be. I assume that's a draw. It's quite complicated, wouldn't it? I don't think we can swap all the pawns off. Anyway, I'm playing bishop d5 check. And if black plays king h8, I can force a draw. And that's a draw I will be accepting. I would be accepting because I am close to lost here. Oh dear, there was no king h8. Alright, this one, I've got secret plans and clever tricks, which I've actually thought about. Bishop d6. The bishop sits quite well there. I will not be telling Horde Coach my plans, but maybe you guys can all work them out. Ooh, knew that was coming. Impressive. Very impressive. So I know, well, that makes me feel good too. Makes me feel like I've got an idea of what I'm doing. I know what my next move is, but I'm not going to make it now because I never do that, and because I enjoy thinking about it, and that's the spirit of correspondence. This one, so I want to play this just because it reduces the scope of the bishop, and the bishop can sacrifice itself for one pawn. That's fine. That's not two pawns. It's just one pawn. Gets the horde going. Ooh, he knows me. This person. I mean, I do appreciate getting taught by someone who's such an expert. Could take the bishop, could take the pawn. Needs a bit of thought. Don't know what to do. Can I not take here on e5? Hitting the knight, hitting the queen. Queen probably has to defend the knight. Maybe a pawn hangs. I don't know. I mean, this hits the knight, right? Hits the queen. Queen defends the knight. I don't know. Queen takes queen. Or maybe, yeah, maybe queen takes queen. And then I'm going to start claiming I'm winning that pawn endgame. Yay! So I think I'm going to take, I mean, obviously it's not yet a pawn endgame, but if it became a pawn endgame, it means I'd be winning it, which means that I'm feeling optimistic because it's almost like being a pawn ahead. Like if it swaps down, then we're going to win. This, king's safety okay? Yes, the king's safety looks okay. The knight on f2 is sort of blocking the bishop. You can always play rook f1 if the going gets tough. You can't intensify the pin too much. Oh, I think it's alright. You never can tell with chess, but we try. The game against Liam. Okay, so I'm glad I didn't get mated in the middle. I thought I was going to, and I certainly could have arranged it. I'm going to activate the rook. I think I've got probably a less than 50% chance of holding this. Liam's a good player, but I don't think I've got a zero chance of holding this. And I think that makes it interesting. I'm looking forward to it. That's a beautiful knight there. I mean, it's not as good as a rook, but it's a good knight, isn't it? It's gone a good square. It's quite stable. It's very stable. Okay, here there's only one move. Well, no, there's only one move this, and I think I'm winning by force if the rooks stay on, and I'm winning by zugzwang if the rooks come off. I may be proved wrong, but the point about this pawn configuration is black can stop it, but black can't waste a tempo, whereas I think when the queen side shakes down, I'll be able to stop it and waste tempo. So I think if the rooks come off, I think I win by zugzwang. That's my theory. I'm sticking to it. I'm a pawn up, right? So it doesn't mean it's winning, but it does mean I ought to be thinking of winning. Ooh! Okay, look, I don't usually take the extra move, but Come on, that's just obvious. I'm just doing it. It's obvious. Okay, fine. We'll think more carefully about that, but I think I like a pawn endgame a lot. Talking of pawn endgames, this was a wonderful move to make. I really appreciate this move. So the point is, here I think black is worse, but black can hold. Because basically, if white just sort of passes now, I don't know, plays like a3 or something, then queen here, and I don't think white's breaking in. I think I can sort of keep it all locked down. But this changes everything. So if I take it, I think I was worse in this position, but I can draw. If I take it, I think I'm even worse. And I'm not sure if I can draw. But the big question is, what happens if you bypass it? And I've done quite a lot of analysis of this today. I think all three results are possible, but I think a draw is the least likely result. So I think there's a white win in there. I think there's a black win in there. It's a complicated position. Am I not going to take it? Am I going to take it? I'm not going to take it. I just think taking it means there's only one winner, which I think it's white wins or maybe black holds the draw. Here, it's actually very sharp, this. I'm not going to say more than that because, my opponent wants to play chess, right? Okay. Very interesting. Nigel made this move quite recently. Nigel's an extremely good player. I think I'm going to fight for the dark squares around the king side. It's natural, right? I don't know if that really was a bad bishop, but I'm also going to... I can't allow white to start controlling those dark squares. I think we're in decent shape here, actually. I even think black's a bit better at the moment, although... You never know with Nigel. He could pull all sorts of things out the bag. But my opinion is that black's a bit better now. And black was quite a lot worse before. Okay, I've got two ideas here. And you can't do both of them because you can only make one move at a time. So, one of them's shallow and one of them's deep. What does everyone think? Who's better? I think white's a bit better because white's got a bit of pressure. Okay. So what happens after this? Do people know what the threat is here? How does black meet it? Okay. I'm playing that. Bing. Okay, been here before, but that was a program move. That's not all of them, is it? No, because there's Justin, there's Gareth. There's this one. Sorry, I don't know your first name. I'm going to call you Muzeka. For reasons you'll understand. That's your handle. Okay, so we're going to take this knight. We're going to take it with the queen because we're not going to double our pawns for no reason. Queen looks safe there in the centre of the board. Queen looks quite nice. Proud. I think it's an equal position. Okay. This one, we're just going to take the pawn back. I think we're winning a piece or an exchange or something in the middle. Might even win a whole rook if we're really lucky by taking this, take back and pinning the bishop. No, we're not going to win a whole rook. I think we're winning material. And we're a pawn down, so we have to. If we win an exchange and we're a pawn down, it's still a long way to go. But maybe we're winning something at the back as well here. I mean, I don't know. But we soon will know. Oh, look at that. Everyone's so... Okay, but great, but... Take it. Take it. Take it. Take. I'm a rook up. I think I've taken the rook here. Oh, hang on. Take, take. Take, take. Because otherwise the knight hangs. If you take here, take. That's a whole rook. Let's think about it, eh? But I think I've got prospects there. I like prospects. Against Justin, you got to take back. I mean, what else could you possibly do? I suppose you could take with a bishop. Knight takes. You got to take with a pawn. That was the whole idea. And then the bishop moves. I mean, that was the whole concept. Gain a bit of space. Just annoy that bishop. You know, not the deepest idea the world has ever known. This again. Gareth Stevens. Gareth. We play King's Indian. You reveal your preferences. I assume we're playing King's Indian. No, maybe you'll try for a Benoni now. Maybe you've tricked me into a Benoni. Well, I can play the white side of Benoni if I have to. This is the game against Ian. Aren't you meant to play? You meant to play c5, aren't you? Queen. You meant to play bishop e6. Bishop e6 is the next move, isn't it? Oh, it varies. And it's never bishop e6. Rook e8. What is rook e8 all about? Bishop d3. d5. Oh, so complicated, isn't it? I mean, what's nice about this, really nice, is black's really solid. Pieces are nicely developed. None of this nonsense in the Morrow where I just got completely mullered. Like, okay. Should we play c5 then? I don't know. I mean, what else have we got? Maybe I'll come back to that. Another game with Ian, which is all really complicated. I think Queen d2 is what you do here. Connect the rooks. You can play f4, but I don't. That's not the way I play it. I think. Oh, you can also play King h2. It's sort of prophylaxis time, isn't it? Really. King h2 or Queen d2. Look, King h2 is seen as a much rarer move. Okay, we will play King h2 at some point. But for now, let's connect those rooks. Oh, Ian. I mean, do you ever get bored of knowing everything? Okay, bishop e6. I have to think about that, of course. It's my standard line. But it is correspondence chess, so that is kind of the point. Well, I guess we'll play c5 and see what happens, you know? I'm a bit worried it weakens this pawn. But not that worried. Is that all of them? Is that everybody? I think it is, isn't it? Went so quickly. It went so quickly. Mad. Yeah, done. I'm really excited about my pawn endgames. We've got some lovely pawn endgames in there. Really excited about the one with Liam too. Waiting to hear from Gary. Waiting to hear from Stuart, which I'm really enjoying. I mean, I'm not enjoying waiting to hear from him. I'm enjoying the game because Stuart's a good player and it's a fascinating position. Okay, Gareth. Gareth's real grade is much higher than that. On a chess basis, his grade's much higher. He just times out a lot, but his grade, he's a brilliant chess player, Gareth. There's a lot of brilliant chess players in here, but he's literally brilliant in that he's just very creative, sort of thing. You know, it's I don't play chess like that. Okay. Well, I have done occasionally, but not habitually. Gareth does habitually. Queen g4. How are you going to develop that bishop? Or are you going to play g6 and weaken the dark squares? I thought about, there's loads of other moves you play here. Queen b4, by b5 check needs serious consideration. Taking on d6. But I think the question is, can that king become safe or not? My theory is not. This one, I didn't know what to do. I'm just backing the knight up again. I'm a pawn up, but white has the 2 bishops. If white was able to hold this, it would mean quite a lot for the tournament. Because I think white's already leading, even though it had a much lower grade. Here, I think we take here. Take the pawn, disrupt the knight, maybe take on e5 if we can. I think that forward knight is a bit too ambitious. f7 is defended, so we'll be alright. I think we'll be alright. Not sure, but I think we will. You're never sure. This is a good move. You see the same thing in the Perts, queen a5. So now we're attacking this pawn because this knight's pinned. Maybe, I don't know what they do in the Perts. They play bishop d3. I don't know how to use Opening Explorer on this thing, so bishop d3 would make sense, right? Developing move, defend the e-pawn, and then I suppose you just take back on c5 with the queen probably, but not necessarily, but probably, because then the d6 pawn can cover e5 here. Queen c2 has the best stats, but I'm just going to castle. I don't know. You can't argue with just castling. That must be right. Maybe h3 at some point, force the exchange. Okay, here I'm just going to play safe here so this doesn't go out of control. It's fast heading out of control. I think I'm 2 pieces up, so it's just a matter of keeping a lid on it. Not the most romantic image, but still. It's pretty contemporary. You take, don't you, here? We always take. On d5, they take back. With a c-pawn, you play rook e8, they play d5. I think, do you take it? Well, we'll find out. We'll take it step by step, right? This is very interesting. So my claim is that d4 wins a pawn here. That's my claim. So, like this, takes. Now this pawn's hanging. Takes. And I think now this pawn's gonna go. Maybe you can do this. Doesn't look great, does it? Maybe you can do that. No, you don't want to do that. How about that? How about that? How about that? How about that? It's like a dream. Do I have to make a move here? I do, don't I? I know. What about d4? Let's see if... I don't think white's worse here. I think it's even, or white's better. I think white's got a slight pull. And actually the rest of these games... So this one, I've decided to play the slightly better pawn endgame, double white's pawns. Play the pawn endgame where I think black has an edge. Not sure. This one, I mean, takes here is just winning. It's going to be check. We're a pawn up. And then we're not going to get mated on the back. But we've got a really pleasant endgame. We're a pawn up. This one, again, so on the previous move, takes, check, king goes here. Black's threatening to take the rook and mate me at the back. But now this changes everything because the rook's defended. And that's a totally different proposition. I don't know what happens if you play h3. I push, takes, and queens. Oh no, that doesn't look very good. We'll have to cross that bridge when we come to it. If black plays h3. I'm not enormously worried about that. I'm not enormously delighted either. Maybe that's the move. Maybe pawn h3 is actually the move. So let's see. Takes, push, push, takes. Queen, please. Takes. Now you can't take because there's mate. So what that means is, after the push, could do this. It's actually quite hard. It's actually quite a good move. Can we just keep the tension? We probably can. Should we just play e3 and keep the tension? Yeah, I think we're just going to play e3 and keep the tension. Having sort of achieved a decent position, we can now just sort of, take it easy, do some prophylaxis. I don't think black's going to take on h5, but life's full of surprises. We take back. I think we're a pawn up here. Maybe another one dropping as well. I'm not. I think there's another one dropping actually. I think either d5 or check b6 drops. How about that? 2 pawns is enough. This one, look, black wins, takes, and then push. Yep, black wins that. Next, 4 pawn attack this, castle, and then playing e5 when the bishop's fianchettoed. Castling can't be bad, can it? I've not looked in the book here, but I think that's quite rare, that b6 move in the 4 pawn, which is great. That's what these sessions are all about. Here, I think you can play bishop d6, defends the knight, annoys the queen. I think it means we pick up a free knight on the end, and with a really serious attack. I think. Let's see what white thinks. It's important because it's white's move. I'm going to get to bed early tonight, by the way. This one, this is in the Iron Throne. I think we had a draw in the last. Look, we got draw. So it's 2 that get promoted. So maybe. Well, I don't know who's fighting out for the top 2 slots. I suppose I should think I am. Isn't that how you meant to? It's called confidence, isn't it? You're meant to be confident, I think. Okay, so we're going to play knight f3, which is a sort of defensive, flexible move, isn't it? Here, doesn't this drop a piece? Isn't that a piece? I mean, we could snap the knight off first, but we won't, because then you lose the rook in the corner. You take the knight, queen takes, take the bishop, and then the knight on g3 is pinned, so takes the rook with check in it, and broadly speaking, white can resign. But we're not going to do that. We're going to do this. Okay. I don't think the black queen's got an easy way in. I think this is mating too, isn't it? Double check. King e8. Bishop. f7 checkmate. This is an enterprising idea to castle on the queen's side. I think the tradition here is you start opening up the queen's side when people do that. Josh. Someone else on our road is going to challenge me. I like all of that. Chess should be about community. It's the whole point. It's not the whole point. Oh, look at discovered attack on discovered check. Let's put the knight in the way onto that blockading square. We like. So we're worse here. I mean, we might draw it, but definitely worse. Definitely it's gone wrong, and we're white as well. I think that's the lot. So that's the end of the show. All that remains is for us to do a tactics puzzle and to lose and go below 2900, which will be an absolute very, very sad eventuality. So what would you do here? Okay, question 1. What happens if you played Queen h6 and doubled on the h file? So let's see, it went knight f7. Looks like a decent move. Queen h4 check is mate. So if you went Queen h6, what is there to stop you going? I mean, suppose one thing is the king could take the pawn. So that maybe the knight takes on e5. Absolute chaos. I'm really attracted to Queen h6, but people will notice I've not really fully thought it through. Or should I just skip it? Okay, how do you stop Queen h4 mate? You know, if there's a mate in one threat, I suppose the answer is the king can take on g4. Then you got queen h5. But the king can go to f5 then. So right now the queen's covering that pawn, isn't it? How about, there's so many moves here, how about pinning the queen against the king by playing knight e5? How about, oh, because my queen's under fire, that's the problem. So you could play queen takes e4 check. Queen takes, knight takes. We haven't refuted queen h6, have we? Okay, I'm going to play queen h6, but the honest truth is I don't know what I'm doing. Don't know what I'm doing. Don't know what I'm doing. Okay. Well, well, well. So now the king is escaping. Lucky king. So what if we took... So this knight is sort of pinned, isn't it? Oh, this is white takes with check. I mean, I suppose when I played queen h6, I should know what to do when they play h3. Okay, if I take on h3, the knight can't take because the queen drops. The pawn doesn't want to take. Oh, I think you just probably take it up. Well, what if we check, then the king goes. Then we take with a pawn, then takes with a pawn. It's mind bending, isn't it? So do we play the check first? I don't know. No. Okay, so we're gonna say I'm too tired. I'm too tired. Takes. I wouldn't have found that, I don't think. Just a bit tired tonight. Yeah, I saw the theme. But I would never have guessed that knight move. So, just to test the thesis that I'm too tired. What happens when you do this? White's move. White's move. Is that queen trappable? No, there's no light square bishop. Play h3. Queen goes to h5. How about... h3, queen h5. That d5 square looks so attractive for a knight to hop into, doesn't it? But I suppose the problem is, or an issue is, you've got fe coming, which hits the queen. So one way out of that is to play knight e6. For some reason I want to play knight e6. I can't even explain it, because I'm going to hit that rook. Well, here's the good news, everybody. We have the climb back to 2900 to look forward to. What we're not going to do here is go into a spiral. Yep. Okay. Okay. Alright, I get it. I really get it. Bedtime after this. We can hit the rook with the queen. Are we getting mated? We're not getting mated, because actually the checks don't even work. So we're going to hit the rook with the queen. Frankly, the tactics have been disastrous this evening. Check this way. King. So you can't take that with the pawn because is there some mate on f2? Check this way. Check there. Wow. That's awesome. I hope you've enjoyed this. I enjoyed the first part. I didn't really enjoy the tactics, but you've got to take the rough with the smooth, haven't you?